Hello everyone and welcome to this week's episode of North Stars Noise. I'm your host Rob Leonard, and the North Stars had two games this past week at home to Wallaceburg on Saturday, and then they played again an away game in Brooklyn. We have video highlights of game one played against Wallaceburg here on Saturday. Let's have a look.
Gibbons, shot, good save, rebound, Drew Barfoot scores!
Good for Drew Barfoot. Game out there practicing the draw and whatever else. So.
Scores! Dan Keene with that bounce shot he tried earlier. Looking for some space. Owen Sound moving it around, nicely scores! Travis Zabalek, Wallaceburg net. Klopfer fires and scores! Brett Klopfer. Here comes DeFrancesco, holds up. Plays it into McLeod and scores. Now here comes Wallaceburg on a 2-on-1 shot, scores. Nice shot. Takes a shot. Where is it? Old Reeve stops it. Or did it go in the... It did go in the goal. McLeod over to Brett Klopfer. Klopfer winds and fires and scores.
Wow.
What a
You
bullet.
cannot give that man a free shot.
The host takes a look inside, shot and scores. Scoring one so far in this period. Ball comes out, Klopfer, and he scores another bullet. Stars again. Here's Rob Klopfer. Klopfer plays it in, shot and scores. You've been putting on defense for most of the season. Goes in there.
So you got a good sticker on the net, that's right.
Okay,
Oh, boy,
and
that's
they
a good shot.
scores. Good job, a lot easier. I know he's on the floor. And scores.
That's a nice goal.
Scott DeFrancesco. Keene looking on the outside. He's going to try it outside. Scores. Here comes Owen Sound on the attack again. Klopfer in front. Shot and scores. Wow. Ball was settled in. Greer back into DeFrancesco. Back out to Keene. Keene, nice play. Scores.
That's the kind of movement.
Thompson. And scores. DeFrancesco scores his third of the game. Plays it out. Shot, scores. Travis Zabalek. That's his hat trick. DeFrancesco looks inside. Couldn't get the ball to Quinlan. There's shot, scores. Dan Keene. And the North Stars coming back in. Here's King, shot, scores. Robbie King.
And as you can see by the final score, your Owen Sound Sr North Stars thrashed the Wallaceburg Thrashers by a score of 19-7. Interestingly, in this game, Owen Sound got goals from 10 different players. 4 of those players would record hat tricks. But again, as I've stated, as I've said a few times during this season, Owen Sound does have a good balanced scoring attack. Owen Sound really needed to win this one with an exclamation mark. Prior to this game, they sat last in goals for in the league. Now they've moved up to third with the 19 goals that they scored against Wallaceburg. Now on Sunday, game in Brooklyn up against the Brooklyn Merchants. The North Stars played them tough as they always do, but fell by a score of 9-7 in that game. So setting up a good run here for the last 3 games of the season. Now, if we could take a look at the league standings. Now, some really interesting games heading into the final 9 days of the season. Six Nations and Brooklyn. Those two teams alone at the top. Interesting and exciting enough for the league. Those two teams will play each other twice more before the end of the season. So the battle is on there for the #1 spot in the league. The North Stars sitting in that battle for playoff positioning with Ennismore and Oakville. North Stars currently hold on to the 3rd spot with 12 points, tied with Ennismore. Oakville close behind with 10. The North Stars will be playing Oakville once and then 2 against Ennismore. And you take a look at the other 2 teams. Oakville plays Owen Sound once, and then they have 2 games against Wallaceburg. So that game this coming weekend in Owen Sound versus Oakville, very important to the Owen Sound North Stars. I believe the North Stars have to win that game against Oakville to put Oakville out of any chance of getting third. That way they can concentrate on, as you can see, the final 2 games of the season in Ennismore, July 9th and 10th. Very important to the positioning, so it's going to go right down to the wire to the end of the season to see what positions the teams will play. Number 1, number 2 get byes in the first round. Number 3 will play number 6. So whoever finishes in third gets the Wallaceburg Thrashers in the first round, and then 4 and 5 will play off in the first round of those playoffs. Now, if we could take a look at the league's leading scorers, Roger Weiss, as he has been the entire season, sitting on top with 54 points. You can't help but think if Chris Atwood had played more than 7 games this year, he'd have a heck of a lot more than the 42 points he has right now. 14 of those points coming in 2 games. Unfortunately, we didn't see him in any games here in Owen Sound this year. And as you can see, too, Six Nations and Brooklyn goal scorers are holding down the top 6 spots. Then you have Kyle Childerholz from Wallaceburg, and then a representative from Ennismore at the bottom, all tied with 34 points. Now, if we could take a look at the team's leading scorers on the Owen Sound North Stars, that 19-goal outburst really upped the numbers on quite a few players on this team. Travis Sabolics now has a stranglehold on the team lead with 29 points on 11 goals, 18 assists. Mike McLeod, still the big assist man with 20, sitting second. Scott DiFrancesco, only 6 games played, 23 points. And you can see Brett Klopfer with his 13 goals, his 16 goals, still leads the way in the goal scoring department. So it's, as I said, it's going to be a really interesting run here when the season ends on July the 10th. Well, I think it's going to take until then before we know exactly who's playing who. But everybody has control of their own destiny right now, and that really makes it exciting coming down, as I said, into the final 10 days of this schedule. So it's been a great year, a lot of parity in the league, and it's been exciting for everybody to watch. I still don't believe that these North Stars have hit their stride yet. They went through a slump. They lost 4 in a row. Let's hope that's the end of it, all right? And they can hit their stride coming up against Oakville and Ennismore twice at the end of the season. What a perfect time to hit your stride heading into the first round of the playoffs. All right, enough of me, and now it's time for Reach the Stars. We have a newcomer goalkeeper Tyler Glebe as our featured player of the week. Let's hear what Tyler had to say to the 10 questions. Question number 1, is there a team you hate playing? If so, who and why?
I'd have to say it's going to be Wallaceburg. I got a bunch of buddies on that team, and but they're a good group of guys, but I wouldn't want to play against them.
All right. Number 2, in a zombie apocalypse, which teammate would you want fighting beside you?
I'd probably say Rob King. Tough guy, yeah. He'd take all the zombies out.
Well, that's 2 in a row for Robbie King. All right, Timmy's or Starbucks?
Oh, Tim Hortons all the way.
All right, good. The best movie you've watched lately?
The Conjuring 2. Scary movie, one with my girlfriend.
Haven't seen that one yet. I'll have to give it a listen. All right, is there one player you hate playing against? Who is it and why?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Probably Roger Weiss. He's got a great shot. He can pick the corners really well.
Yeah, incredible. We saw him here in Owen Sound just recently. You're absolutely right. First word that comes to mind when you hear Justin Bieber?
Great guy.
Adam Jackson, you got more Bieber lovers on the team here. The playoffs are coming. Who would you prefer to meet in the first round?
First round, I think it really doesn't matter who we meet first round. Whoever we meet, we're going to beat them.
Right on. Okay. Number 9, what is your occupation outside of Lacrosse?
I work for the city of Kitchener, so in the summer I would do the traffic department, and in the winter I drive a Zamboni.
Right on. Great job. Great job. All right. And is there anybody you'd like to say hello to?
My dad, my mom, grandparents in Kitchener, and my girlfriend, Natasha.
And we want to thank Tyler Glebe for taking the time to answer the 10 questions on Reach the Stars, and we'll have a featured player each week until the end of the season. Now, before we sign off, I just want to make note that Rob King and Drew Quinlan, the defensive specialists on the North Stars, also tallied their first goals of the season in that game against Wallaceburg. Nice to see the defensive guys getting on the scoring as well. So that's going to do it for this week's episode of North Stars Noise. We'll be back next week. Be sure to join us. See you then.